The other day, I was thinking to myself, I haven't really heard much about the Woke Republic lately. They hired a bunch of woke clowns to write the books. No one bought them, unless you're Star Wars Explained. No one liked them. Wave 2 of the shit-ass books are coming out this summer. Then we are going to get the Acolyte on Disney+, led by showrunner Leslye Headland. I like to give things a fair chance before I judge them. However, I've already seen enough evidence to know the Acolyte will be woke trash. Leslye Headland needs to be fired, and we need to burn all the treatments, storyboards, and scripts. Now, if you've been paying attention, you know how badly Circus Film has fucked up Star Wars and continues to fuck up Star Wars. Since the announcement that Leslye Headland was hired, it was very predictable she was going to produce woke garbage. This latest interview with the AV Club confirms it. We already know the Wokalite will be female-centric. Now, there's a lot of good content with a female protagonist, but Leslye Headland is another social justice nutjob. Story? Who cares? It's all about strong Wamen. In this interview, the AV Club asked the worst questions. They were all centered around representation and all that uninteresting shit. You're the first female showrunner for a Star Wars show, which is a huge development. What was your introduction to that world?
My relationship with Star Wars probably runs the span of most of my life. It has changed over the decades. When I was younger, I devoured the films on home video and absolutely loved them. Just a deep connection to the original trilogy.
Firstly, I don't believe any of that. Secondly, if you have such a deep connection to the original trilogy, why do you like the sequel trilogy, which completely took a giant shit on it?
I saw a video of a little girl dressed up as Rey at Disney World or Disneyland or whatever it was. My wife sent me the video. It was so cute. I'm watching it and I'm kind of like, okay, cute. Yeah, got it. And then I just started crying again. I don't know why I'm crying all the time. But I just started crying because I forget how powerful this stuff is when you were younger. That level of coding of girls can be Jedis as well. That's just something that wasn't necessarily available to me when I was that age.
This alone disqualifies her. Not only she likes the sequel trilogy, she was crying because a little girl was dressed as Rey Skywalker, the worst character ever in the history of Star Wars. Any writer that can't recognize the sequel trilogy was a pile of shit shouldn't be allowed anywhere near a Star Wars production. And then her cringe line, girls can be Jedis as well. Leslye, you claim to be a big fan. Love the original trilogy. It was suggested in both movies that Leia had potential to be a Jedi, and there were female Jedi in the prequels, which started over 20 years ago. So don't give me this crap about, a female can be Jedi too. If you were actually a fan, you'd know this and it wouldn't be a big deal. But Leslye either knows dick about Star Wars and or is extremely obsessed with strong women, and it gets worse.
Every time I see gay or queer representation in media, I scream, "Ah!" with happiness. There's nothing like seeing that out in the world. I literally was behind two mothers with their children at the airport, and I was crying.
Leslye Headland, who is a lesbian, fucking screams when she sees gay representation. Oh my god! It's so beautiful! There's nothing like seeing that out in the world! I was crying! The problem isn't seeing gay representation. The problem is she is obsessed. This is more important to her than telling a good story.
To have the power when you're creating media to just put in certain types of people that maybe aren't necessarily in normal mainstream content or media. I know that for people who don't identify that way, it doesn't seem that important, but to us, it's huge. cringe. I literally saw it in Orbit's commercial with two women going on vacation, and I was like, again, crying. It just hits you at a level that you don't know you're missing it until you see it.
Again, Leslye proves she's completely fucking insane. I don't want any emotional nut jobs writing for Star Wars, but that's what we are going to continue to get with circus film. Now you had the opportunity to both talk the talk and walk the walk with this show. Obviously, I don't know if there's gonna be any queer characters. I can only hope. But you have to put together a writer's room. What were your guiding principles there? What were you looking for in a writer?
So that was what I really wanted, an active conversation between my writers and myself, and not so much a room full of people that would kind of just automatically agree with what I say. That also means hiring people that are not necessarily the diehard cutthroat fan that I am when it comes to Star Wars stuff.
Leslye claims to be a diehard fan. No diehard fans support the sequel trilogy. No diehard fans cry because they see someone dressed as Rey Skywalker.
Mostly what I look for were people that I felt could execute a great script, number one. And then in the job interview, just really talking to people with different life experiences than I did and had different connections to Star Wars than I did. I literally had one writer that was like, I have never seen any of them. I've never seen any Star Wars media. And she's texting me before we started the room. She's like, Luke and Leia are brother and sister? What? And it was so great.
It was so great. So we're coming off the shit-ass train wreck sequel trilogy. The biggest problem was the lack of planning and writing. This clown literally had an interview with a person that's never seen Star Wars and thought she'd be a great addition to the writing team. She thinks it's funny too. You know what's not funny? The Kathleen Kennedy sequel trilogy. This show has zero room for error, and she's fucking around hiring strong Wamen specialists for the writing team. Or maybe she's a pronoun specialist. In this whole interview, there was zero mentioning of the dark side or anything relevant to the story. But that's perfect for Leslye Headland, this Rosie O'Donnell looking SJW clown, because there is going to be no story. It's going to be a bunch of strong Wamen running around calling people names and crying on Twitter. The Acolyte is going to be woke trash. Leslye Headland needs to be fired. If this interview didn't scare you enough, a lot of people who I respect as real Star Wars fans are under the illusion that Dave Filoni would save Star Wars if he replaced Kathleen Kennedy. Now, if you know anything about the circus film corporate hierarchy, he's nowhere close to being next in line to be president. But let's say hypothetically, he is put in charge. Leslye Headland is a Dave Filoni acolyte. This is a guy you think will save Star Wars? No chance. Dave Filoni will support the Acolyte 100% because he is just as woke and surely will jack off to all the strong Wamen.
And she looks strong.
I am growing stronger in the dark side every day, but I need more Knights. The Knights of Melvin need you to take on Disney and fight to #retcon the sequel trilogy. That is the only chance to save Star Wars and prevent Rey Skywalker sequels. Become a Knight, subscribe to the channel.
Dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider unnatural.